that is, one of the reasons is to do this way is to be like everybody else. I'm really not concerned with being like everybody else. I'm concerned with doing what's best for us. And every site, every place, every system is different and individual. This is my personal opinion, this is not right for us the way it is formed right now. Yes, you're fine.
Okay. To that last point, I'm not sure about being like everybody else. I'm not sure what that reference is, but the positions, I wanted to make clear, I think I laid this out in one of the emails following the work session, but the reason the 7 positions are listed there is not because we would necessarily ever use an Appleton employee with those 7, but those are the 7 categories of positions that we would save money if we utilized an Appleton employee. And I think I stated specifically in there that we might not necessarily ever even consider for all of those positions. One of the reasons not to limit the number, or like to say, okay, we'll do 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, part of it is because of what I just said. We may decide for one of those 7 categories or 5 of those 7 categories that it doesn't make sense to use an Appleton employee. As I said, we're going to analyze things on an individual basis, and by position we may decide we don't want to go there ever. So I wouldn't want to say, okay, we'll do 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. On the other hand, for another category, it might make sense to do several. For example, I was just talking to Mr. Garner and Ms. Smith and I met this morning looking at we've got preliminary Title I budget information. So we were discussing kind of tentatively just some different options for that. And so one of the questions I asked him is, if the board approved this Appleton contract, that is one of the areas where we utilize a lot of retired teachers. It would save, it'd be a win-win-win, make Title I dollars go further and so forth. I said, I mean, this is just an estimate based on the number crunching we did, and we haven't gone through the budget process yet. But perhaps, based on our tentative, best guesstimate, the schools could decide that they needed, we let go some teachers, so we don't have to utilize aides in some of those positions that we had teachers. And that's where the retired employees come in. And we guesstimated as many as 10 of those. So that might be an area where we want to use several positions, and then we might not do anything in the other 6 ever. I mean, I don't know. But that's one reason, and there's no way to know that for sure. The other thing I did think of, I did consider, based on comments from the board, we would be the only system to do it, but I'm okay with that. But I did consider, trying to work with Appleton through our attorneys, and that's a whole other issue right now, but working on our contract to adjust it where we had to revisit it on an annual basis. There could be situations where we had an employee, Appleton or otherwise, Appleton is really what I'm talking about here, where they're in a position. So it would, and let's say, wait a minute, we want to keep that person going into the next school year. So technically, if our contract has an end date, then their service has an end date. So it might be hard if we had somebody we wanted to keep in, let's say, one of those positions, and that fiscal year runs October 1 through September 30th, that money does. So that was my reason for not, recommending. And I knew that we can terminate the agreement at any point in time that we want to. So what I was trying to communicate, obviously I did a very poor job, is I didn't want to remove that flexibility for the various positions, some of which have different fiscal years than others even, just in the way that we find out about the money and so forth. So hopefully that explains what I wasn't able to explain very well by email.
The end date issue and the overlap is actually, if I remember correctly, it's actually handled in the Appleton contract. There is language in there that talks about if someone has already been placed in the end, and how that
and the contract continues.
And the placement continues, yes. And but we just had a difference of opinion on that. And, Any other questions, discussion?
Can we add that?
Add what specifically?
And let me say it before, if that's the only change that's made, that's not gonna change.
But I'm not
Maybe.
trying to.
So if
yeah,
you're trying to-
I'm
if
just
you're
trying
trying
to,
to-
because that was a concern of mine too.
It would,
But the 90-day thing, I thought, took care of that, but it was a concern of mine. That it would also, I mean, as boards change with new members, they would inherit this contract. So that's it, so.
That's where the trust comes in for me between the board and the superintendent, that someone's not going to basically, I think someone said sneak something in and/or run amok with an agreement like this. And if that's absent, there are bigger issues than this particular agreement. That's where my comments about trust come in.
in mine, it's not about trust, it's not a trust issue, it's an issue of checks and balances, that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Any other discussion? There being no other discussion, I will call for a vote, and I'm sure someone's going to ask, so this will be a roll call vote. Dr. McCrary?
Yes.
Mr. Eslinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
I vote no. Motion carries. Dr. Spivey, do you have a recommendation regarding item D, job descriptions?
Yes, I recommend the approval of the 3 job descriptions as attached.
Per the superintendent's recommendation, this is, encompasses all of D 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, I'm sorry, or is it, I'm sorry, I'm trying to take notes, 1, 2, and 3, yes.
Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. McCrary,
Second.
second by Ms. Thompson. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Dr. Spivey, do you have a recommendation regarding item E?
Yes, I request the board award the food service bid for milk and ice cream to Mayfield Dairy Farms for 2016-17 through 2018-19 at a cost of $81,137.50 for milk and $11,595.13 for ice cream. And the bid proposal and the information is attached as you received it at the work session. Nothing has changed in this document.
Heard the recommendation on item E, child nutrition food service bids. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Thompson,
Second.
second by Dr. McCrary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Dr. Spivey, regarding item F, increase in milk prices.
Yes, I request that the board approve the increase in meal prices as follows. For students, breakfast from $1 to $1.25, lunch from $2.25 to $2.50. Employees, breakfast from $1.75 to $2, lunch from $3 to $3.25. Visitors, breakfast from $1.75 to $2, and lunch from $3.75 to $4. And you have a memo as attached here from Ms. Rogers, and nothing has changed in this recommendation from the work session.
Heard the recommendation, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Eslinger is second.
Second.
Second by Dr. McCrary. Is there any discussion? Everything went up for it.
Including our reimbursement?
I don't know if it went up a quarter. Melva is here.
We have not received reimbursement rates for this week.
Oh, okay. So, year to year. When you usually get those?
It's usually in July, when Ms. Bryson, you have proceed.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, and we haven't really discussed this very much, but one of the things that we're having to pay attention to is our meals per labor hour, which is not where it needs to be. It's kind of like the finances into CMP. And we've got, the CMP workers will tell you, we have a very thin staff. We've got it as thinned out as you can. The only way to improve that, our meals per labor hour, is to either cut staffing costs, or to increase meal prices, or to increase participation. And all three of those are challenging to do. So we're constantly working on that, but we're not where we need to be. We're actually pretty far off the mark of where we need to be.
Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution for the joint CMP purchasing agreement with the Jackson County Schools.
I request that the board approve the resolution for joint CMP purchasing agreement with Jackson County Schools for fresh produce and beverages. The agreement is attached. Nothing has been changed in this agreement since the work session. If the board approves it, it requires a signature from the board president, Mr. Eustace, and myself. And this is one other example of just the ways we've been trying to partner between Scottsboro City Schools and Jackson County Schools in ways that make sense and save money for both systems.
Your motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. McCurry. Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Eslinger. Any discussion?
I don't think we discussed a lot of this because we had so much other to discuss in the work session, but did we evaluate other items as well as fresh produce and beverages, or are we just starting small and working?
I'm going to let Melba address that.
Ms. Jackson County CMP Director and myself were trying to find ways where we could partner together to get a little cost for things. They had already done their bid for my screen, just on their just.
Okay, but it might be something in the future, yes. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Regarding item H, physical therapy contract and occupational therapy services contract. Dr. Spivey.
I request that the board approve the physical therapy services contract with Twin Acres Physical Therapy and Occupational Therapy Services contract. This is with the Pediatric Therapy Link of North Alabama, LLC, for the 2016-17 school year. As mentioned at the work session, these are ongoing services. In fact, some of these services are provided to some of our students during the summer months for our special needs students.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. McCreary. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item I, Microsoft ESS agreement renewal.
I request that the board approve the purchase of the Microsoft ESS license from Dell Software for 2016-17 at a cost of $18,637.32. I think it was asked at the work session. This is for our enrollment for educational sources, the volume licensing there, and just basically updating or renewing that license agreement.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Eslinger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. McCreary. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Dr. McCreary, you had asked to be placed on the agenda, comments from the AASB conference.
Yes, I just wanted to report that I, along with Dr. Spivey, attended the 2016 AASB Summer Conference. The dates were June 17 through 19. The theme was the future of work and learning. It was a very good conference, and as usual, the speakers were excellent and very motivational.
Item 6 dates, the next board work session, board meeting, and the whole board training. Nothing has changed that I know of, except that I sent all of you an email just before the meeting regarding the date on the whole board training. Y'all take a look at that, you probably haven't seen it yet, and let me know what you think. Conflict has developed there. But, with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Where, can you explain that on whole board training?
The whole board training day, I found out that I'm going to have to be in Montgomery federal court that day. The last time I went down there for these kind of hearings, it lasted till 4 p.m. I contacted Mr. Edwards and see what he might have available right close around that. He said he could do it the next day. I'm fine with the next day. That's all the email does, is ask y'all if y'all can do the next day, same time.
Same time, same place.
Same time, same place, just following day.
I'm good, I'll tell you that right.
Which is,
What's the change?
So it goes from the 12th to the 13th, Tuesday to Wednesday.
I've got some.
We got a doctor's
that
appointment.
I'm probably recently.
I can agree with you.
I'm okay with that.
Set up, you okay? You said that?
I'm not sure, I'll have to
Okay.
check.
I told him that I would call y'all through email about the schedule, or tonight I would mention it to all of you, and I'd get back to him tomorrow. So, he said that's fine with him. We would like to, I know, all get it done. Frankly, you know, there's, considering it's whole board training right in the middle of the election cycle doesn't necessarily make sense. But the subject of it does, because we need to go ahead and get that done.
And we save money.
Well, by tying the two together, we save the people, yeah, on that required course, so. If we can do it on Wednesday, I think that'll work out fine. I'll get hold of you and find out from her, y'all just let me know. Do you hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries, and we're adjourned. Thank you all.